Thanks for joining us, Amanda. HaneyBiz has started this series, we'll call it a web series, that is really helping the entrepreneurs to not feel so quite alone. And a lot of times what happens when you feel alone, you get this fear, uncertainty, doubt. How do I take action? I really want to know what to do. So we're bringing this web series to bring different ideas of what they can do now to work from home, what they can do now in terms of human resources. And so when you reached out to me most recently about, hey, I have information, it was, I was excited, and like we sort of threw this in sort of last minute, but for our audience that there's going to be watching this either live streaming somewhere else or maybe playing back at a different time. It's March 20th. So this is the latest as of March 20th. We've got Amanda Blackwood. She's the CEO of the Sacramento Metro Chamber. So you know a lot about what's going on right now. So maybe I'll ask you just the opening question, Amanda. Like, what's the mood? What's the sentiment around what's going on in our economy and the health? Are people more worried about just being healthy, or is it really about the business?
So great question. And I think you have folks that are feeling all of those things. I mean, it's exceptional time. And I can say on the very positive side of the house, the amount of collaboration between your local chambers, your economic development departments, your cities, your electeds. I wish we had this kind of daily coordination all the time. Because it's truly servant leadership at the highest level, and you've got folks sharing data and sharing resource. And I will give you for instance, I mean, we are on the phone daily with the SBA. As you can imagine, they are very overwhelmed. We have local employers that have had to make really difficult decisions to lay off staff. So we are in real time saying, hey, SBA is hiring. You know, within a day, we can try to get you trained to get into this pipeline. Let's try to get folks up and running as soon as possible.
Okay, I want to ask some clarity around that. So when I heard you say SBA, you know, Small Business Administration, I'm thinking that's a pathway to financing my business. But what you're saying is that they're an employer, is what obviously they're an employer, but that's really the biggest resource that they are playing today is, hey, we're hiring.
And the reality is, I mean, due to the exceptional leadership and advocacy of this region, we were able to draw down access to that SBA emergency funding. It was the state of Washington and the state of California, and every other state is waiting their opportunity. So that rapid coordination enabled over $60 billion of funding to be accessible just to our state and Washington. So we are urging everyone, look at that nonprofit, for-profit. It is a loan, it is debt, you know, it's not a grant, but very low interest with long deferments to get into that pipeline. And then to your point, SBA is saying we've got more demand than we have people. We're hiring, as well as other local, you know, your gig economy is hiring like crazy. Your grocery stores are hiring, your distribution. So, you know,
yeah, there are people hiring. So yeah, I don't know if your audio, can you guys hear the audio? I got Monique and Brian who are joining us as well. I want to make sure they can hear the audio just fine because she sort of broke up for me a little bit.
Yeah, your audio is cutting out a little bit.
Okay, so just, but okay, so can I follow up with that? Because I think that's interesting. So we have the, you know, all those of us that have employees are so worried about the tough decisions that we are making around expenses, and wages for most of us are the number one line item for our expenses. And there are people hiring. That is music to my ears. And so I had heard that Amazon was hiring, and some of the delivery people and Walmart, you know, is hiring, but I did not realize that the SBA. So I guess that's an avenue where we want to get the information out. But then when we're speaking to our entrepreneurial friends, those of us that are having to make these decisions as to borrowing money, and can I even borrow money? Am I credit worthy? Can we start there? Because I want to understand what's possible.
Great question. And I will give the caveat just as you did, you are taking on debt when you utilize these programs. There are a few things that are grants. The federal government is trying to get as much in grant financing as they can. These are loans, be them low interest. But I would tell you specifically with the SBA disaster loan, it's different than some of the other things that SBA does. It is a direct federal program. So there is some bureaucracy that they're able to cut out. On a daily basis, just heard again from Heather this morning, they're making the application process as easy as possible. So, it's still a loan process, but that, do you need to have 7 years past tax returns? Do you need, in a time when you're freaking out, it's not the time you want to go back to all your file folders trying to find these random documents. So they're very aware of that, and they're trying to make that as easy as possible. Specific to the emergency disaster loans, for any small business or nonprofit. These loans can go up to $2 million. They can be used for working capital. There are long deferment payback times. This morning we heard as long as 11 months of relief. And there is no cost to you to apply. There is no credit ding for you to apply. You do have to go through the process, but you can also choose at the end of the road. If you don't need it, you don't need it. So I would strongly urge anyone that's interested, go through the application process so that you're in the pipeline. And if that's not the right thing for you, opt out. But get into the pipeline so that you have access to that.
Okay, so
And
let's talk about.
Mark, let me just interrupt really quickly. Amanda and her team have made the links and information on how to apply available to us in our community. So we'll make sure that we get those distributed out, posted up with this webinar.
So this is interesting to me because I thought when you wanted to borrow money, you go to a bank and you apply for a loan. You're saying this is bypassing the financial institution and going straight to the federal government and borrowing the money?
So this program, yes. And I would be remiss if I didn't say there are many other local banks that are trying to pool resources and make those accessible. So absolutely, all of the regular routes are available to you. All of the regular SBA programs are available. Your 5-Star Bank, Safe Credit Union, American River Bank are all, and others, Golden Pacific Bank, are all working on putting things together. But this program is a direct federal program, so it can be as expedient as possible.
Okay.
Within 2 to 3 week turnaround times, and then trying to disperse funds as quickly as possible.
Okay, and I want to give, maybe I'll give, sorry to interrupt, maybe give a little bit of my perspective on this because I want to reiterate something that you said earlier, is if you are a small business that has the ability to pay back, if you will have the ability to pay it back, then a loan likely would make more sense and make sense. If you are a business that probably is maybe undercapitalized to the point that it wasn't even healthy at the beginning of the year, it may be unwise to go out and try to borrow the money today because we're running into a very difficult economy where there's so much uncertainty that piling on debt might not be what's right for you. That
is very true. And they will tell you throughout that underwriting process, if you were relatively insolvent prior to January 1, this is probably not the right route. If you just need a bridge to get you through, it's a restaurant and you are doing everything that you can and you expect by August, folks are out and about and you need payroll for 4 months, definitely look at it. Nonprofits, definitely look at that. If it's just that bridge, because you had a major event. A lot of nonprofits make money off events. So if I'm not going to do it this year, but I'm going to do it next year, I just need a bridge, very prudent. If you were not being able to make ends meet prior, it could buy you some time. But
now, if you're a nonprofit or a small business, I see those as two different types of entities completely. Personal guarantees are often, they go along with the small business loan so I would assume that would be the case here too. Are these unsecured loans to small businesses?
So that is a great question. We talked about that with SBA this morning, and the answer we got was it depends on the borrower, but that they are trying to be as flexible as possible with viewing what collateral could be. So maybe that's receivables. Maybe that's, and it's really, and I hate to give, not clear information, but I do want to know it changes every day to the borrower's benefit.
Okay,
So
right.
they could say yesterday, nope, we need your house as collateral. They could say today, you got 300 grand in receivables, good enough for us. Like rapidly changing.
Interesting, because somebody who's solvent, maybe even doing pretty well today, but their customer base is, let's say it is a restaurant or another customer that's like, we are going to be shut off for 30, 60, 90, 120 days. And then it might even take a little while to come back. If you're solvent, you might not have to, you might not be a solvent then, right? So you may be underwater at some level in 180 days, where today you're okay. You may be able to get away without signing the personal guarantee, just attach it to your receivables or your previous cash flows.
And again, I'd say get in the pipeline.
Okay.
Because by the time they get to you, maybe the moment that you are experiencing that challenge. So, it's no harm, no foul. Just it's some paperwork and it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but do it. That quote, do something today, your tomorrow self will thank you for.
Mm-hmm.
Probably that thing.
Yeah. And that I guess I should bring up too, HaneyBiz accounting, even though we're working from home and things like that. I mean, we help people get bankable at times. Hey, I've got this shoebox full of stuff. Can we turn this into a credit application? Right. So sometimes, getting people onto QuickBooks, getting things right to companies that are, if you need help on that, let me know, right? Let one of our teammates know. Maybe there's something we can do to get you pointed in the right direction as well. Now, on the nonprofit side, are nonprofits, who would sign the personal guarantee from the nonprofit? Is there any clarity around that yet?
No. And that direct question was asked this morning and they said, just start the process.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Amanda. Anything else on the lending front? So I think for most businesses, especially the ones that have had some real, success and we're going along, all done, fat, and happy. And then all of a sudden, oh no, I didn't even need a line of credit last week. Now what, right? I have a pretty good business. Is there anything else on the lending front that is available or that is on the horizon?
So I will share that the city of Sacramento took a huge leadership role and opened $1 million emergency fund. That portal opened yesterday. I'll be very candid and let you know there are thousands of applicants. So definitely more than 1 million can cover. However, our organization and others are working with the city directly on who applied that's not going to get it or who applied that needs more, so that we can funnel as many people as we can to this SBA program, as well as our local lenders.
Great. And in that particular one, with it being with the city, that means your business probably needs to be in the city of Sacramento.
Yeah. That program specifically, yes. No other resources, and Monique touched on it. The chamber launched on Wednesday a hub of information. So if you go to rapidresponse.metrochamber.org, or if you just go to metrochamber.org, click the button, get you there. You can give us direct questions. I need lending. I need whatever. And we have people that are trained to be able to answer those questions as quickly as we can. I just want to say, please give us grace. I mean, everyone is completely overwhelmed in volume, but there may be some of those folks that we can direct to our Small Business Development Center that can then have free one-on-one counseling with a trained financial advisor that will help you navigate all the loan programs that are out there and find something that's right for you. I also want folks to know that the Sacramento Asian Chamber and the California Asian Chamber have taken a big leadership role as well in loan packaging. So they have a team of 8 that they're kind of converting. They were doing something, now they're doing this, to walk you through the process of, to your point, I got a box of receipts. I have money, I don't know what to do. So they will walk you through that. So please know, go to our resource hub and we will direct you. If we can help you directly, we will. If we can't, we'll get you to somebody that can. It may take a couple days, but we're trying to get to everybody as quick as we can.
Yeah, this is great because we were sitting here, a lot of us are sitting there and we're used to taking action every day, right? But we can't take action right now in many cases, but we want to. We're entrepreneurs, we're workers. I need to keep busy. I need to do something. So this is great that you can start this process. You can get the ball rolling. You can get the conversations started. And I think the other thing that leaps out at me is you talked about the way you're working together, and you've never seen anything like it. You're talking about the different chambers, the city of Sacramento, the state, and these other people. And I think communication is a big key. So I would invite you to, Amanda, as you're sharing stuff on your social media, tag me. Obviously, we have some reach. Tag HaneyBiz, and we can help you get the word out, because that's what it is right now. How do we help the people that need it get what they need? And a lot of times these are just connections. And if we have the awareness, that's a great start.
Right. And I could not emphasize more, guys, just keep it simple. Just sending a text to someone, just sending an email, putting it in on the hub. No, these are real people that are answering these. We will absolutely tag you on our social media, and we're using our Twitter specifically to try to get information out as quickly as we can. So please follow that. I'll give for instance, the governor gave his speech last night. We immediately said, well, what's an essential business?
Yeah.
I'm in construction. Is that essential? I'm building houses, feels pretty essential. And we were able to, in a very short turnaround time, 4 to 5 hours, get clarification from the governor's office. Yes, construction is essential. Please continue, to build housing. No, happening in real time.
That's great. So, it's interesting. I was thinking there's essential businesses, essential employees, and things like that. And I started thinking, I'm not even essential anymore. And then Monique told me that we're a media company, and I'm essential. I felt so irrelevant for about 15 minutes there. Anyway, so can we go through that a little bit, where to find that information? Because construction is essential. The food services and delivery, obviously medical, media, I think certain security is essential.
Right. So what my best advice is, go to the resource hub and read the order. And then we're doing clarifications as they go. And if you are reading that and you are a business and you say, okay, I see I'm covered, I get it, then great, do what you're doing. Use all the social distancing you can. Keep your folks home that can work from home. Embrace that as much as possible. If you are reading that and you are unsure, call us, email through the hub. We are working with our state and congressional offices every 15 minutes to try to get you clarity and know if it was an unintended consequence that you were excluded. This is where your lobbying and advocacy kicks in. And we're helping our electeds understand the unintended consequence of some of the verbiage. That, from a policy standpoint, changes dynamically. So if you are unsure, let me know that you're unsure, and we will get that to your elected offices ASAP.
Okay, and I'll reiterate, it's March 20th. March 21st might look different, or March 20, it's whatever, it's 11:48. So it might look different this afternoon as we have more information. I've heard rumors. Are there any rumors out there that you need to squelch? People who are spreading fear, or is there anything happening like that really doesn't exist yet? Like people are talking about things that might go into effect, but they're not into effect yet.
Right. So I would say this. The best thing that you can do is realize that you are a human person and that this is stressful. So breathe, stay calm. If watching the news is helpful to you, watch it. If not, take a break, take a walk, chill out.
Yeah, you can see behind me, I've got CNBC as I watch my whatever investments I have left fluctuating. So it's crazy time.
Ride that out, and then I would also say, whatever you can do, your safety, your well-being is number one. You are not of service to anybody, your team, your staff, your family, if you're stressed. If you're stressed, your immune system goes down, and that's not helpful either. So number one, breathe. You're going to be okay. We're going to get through it. It's going to look different, but that's okay. We are resilient people, and we'll figure it out. Know that the Metro Chamber is trying to get information out as quickly as possible that we know is accurate. So if we are sending something out, it's because it's from a vetted source. If we're not sending it, it's because it's not. Know that things do change daily. So something to address. There was some, what do you mean the National Guard is coming? I don't know what that means. It means that they're here right now in an essential service to provide food. And it means that when the governor says, I need essential business to operate, and if you can stay home, you need to do that. So some of this is voluntary, and they're looking at us to be on best behavior. If we continue to do that and rally around each other and embrace technology, which I'm seeing that the community is overwhelmingly doing, great. If we don't, and they feel public safety is at risk, there will be further enforcement measures. So know that. Just make good choices, be safe, rally around your family, try to be as communicative as you can with your employees because they are afraid. If you can get a Zoom line video conference just to check in as human people, do it. And as a business, I know that feeling of there's things out of my control. What do I do? What do I do? Do that. Set it up and check in with your folks and just maintain a positive culture and embrace as much as you can digitally. I think on a silver lining, when we navigate through this and we are in a recovery period, the way that we have embraced technology, some of this is for the good. And there are a lot of people that can work from home, and we're keeping a lot of cars off the street, and the air quality is improving, and we're doing virtual happy hours, and we're connecting with each other in new ways. So, it's, as you know, in business, when resources get finite, that comes the time to innovate. So the sooner you can be innovative and embrace change, the quicker that you will move through, the more mental well-being you will maintain. And we are in this as a community together. And I just want to reiterate, what I have seen is incredible from the business side, your elected side, your community side. People are coming together in really beautiful ways. And if we keep doing that, we're going to be okay.
That is so heartwarming. I could not agree more. And thank you for your leadership and your calming influence. I think people like yourself or even me, you end up in this leadership position that sort of has gotten heightened all of a sudden. And I think it's really appreciated that you're bringing this calming influence, and I hope I can do a little bit of that myself. I'm attempting to do that, so thank you. Now I'm going to dive back into a little bit of, because I think that's important, like stay calm and get your sleep and take your vitamins and keep your gas mask on, and your inner circle can be very calming, and we have to calm these people in our lives as well. It's part of our job. But so I want to make sure I've exhausted the lending piece. So is that all the information we want to share right now on getting loans in this crazy time?
I think that's what we know. Again, the SBA emergency disaster loan, get in the pipeline.
Okay, so let's talk more about the employees for a second, because I think, so we have financial health of the business, financial health personally. If that's not done, then we can't even hire people. We can't keep employees. And we may have to make tough decisions regarding our teammates now as we keep the business alive. Sometimes that means that we have to change what our employees are doing. We may have to furlough. We may have to recommend that they get another job or unemployment. I mean, let's talk about these people that are really our loved ones in so many ways, and we want to make sure they're okay.
Right. So again, I'm going to direct you to a resource, and no, it's changing every day. So I want people to go directly to this. The EDD has a special page all for coronavirus and things that are impacts of coronavirus. It's very simple walkthrough. They did a fantastic job, took a lot of feedback to make that easy. Any of your employees that have concerns or questions, I strongly encourage, send them directly to the EDD page, coronavirus, as it's changing daily. There are new benefits available daily. Relying on our old kind of HR, how many sick days we get and how that works and all that, it's changing daily. So I'd really encourage folks to go there. There's information on unemployment, on disability, on paid family leave, and all of it's changing due to coronavirus impacts. So do that. And as a business, that's real. I mean, you got to look and you got to say, hey, guys, we're going to suspend for 30 days. And that's just what we got to do. It's going to be 2 weeks. I need every other Friday. Having those real conversations very directly with your team, they understand. They understand.
I think it's important because there's a stigma associated with doing layoffs or furloughs or, cost, eliminating expenses like we're talking about. There's a stigma there for the employer. And I think there's a stigma for somebody who is, I'm going to walk into the unemployment office, or I'm going to get on unemployment. Is that welfare? Does that mean I'm a lesser of a person? So I mean, from an employer standpoint, I'm sort of wondering, how do we eliminate? You're a restaurant and you have to let 3/4 of the people go. We got to let people know that that's okay to put them on furlough for a second.
Right. And we want to think about this. Right now, we're in this moment of triage, and we're making decisions on an ongoing dynamic basis, knowing that this too shall pass and knowing that we will get to a period of recovery. So everyone know there is nothing shameful or wrong about utilizing the services available to you. That's what it's for. That's what the safety net is for. And frankly, from the policy side, make claims, because that data is essential for your congressional and Senate offices to bring down federal dollars, not dissimilar to a census process, right, which is still going on. So please do that if you can. They need to know the quantity of claims, the quantity of layoffs. That's how we advocate for resources.
Okay, so Monique is giving me the sign that I may have ran us out of time. Let's could we do a quick wrap, and then maybe I'll turn it over to Monique if she wants to talk about the other things that we're doing. So maybe just a quick wrap and maybe summarize anything we didn't cover.
Right. Best thing I could say, rapidresponse.metrochamber.org or just metrochamber.org. Find the link. Everything we talked about today, the SBA emergency links, the EDD page, who's hiring, FAQs, the governor's order, all of that you should be able to find there. If it's not up right this minute, it will be by the end of the day. Please go there, follow us on Twitter. We will give the most updated information we can. And then I just want to let everyone know, in this time, it is extraordinary. Give each other grace. We're fighting for resources, but kindness is free. So embrace that as much as you can, and we will be okay.
Kindness is free. I love it. Monique, do you want to maybe wrap up with any other information our audience might want to know at this time about the other things that we're doing that they can expect?
Sure. Thanks. Thanks again to Amanda for taking this time out of what I know is an incredibly hectic schedule for you to share this information with our community. And again, just iterating that we'll have links to all the resources that Amanda talked about on our website for sure. We'll share them out for our social networks as well. And then we'll be here every day at 2 with a different business expert focused on any different areas of business where you need some tactical advice on what actions you should be taking today so that your tomorrow's self will thank you. I really like the way that you put that, Amanda, and that's exactly what we all need to be doing right now. So thank you so much. I think I'll toss it back to you, Mark.
Okay, yeah. Thank you again, Amanda. It's Amanda Blackwood with the Sacramento Metro Chamber and working together, the power of with. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.